You need to log into the console first. Then search here VPC. So we are actually building the network here. In the cloud, we are building the network. So if you see the VPC isolated cloud resources. So right click and open into another link. Sadan, is the recording started? Okay, perfect. So um, I think just recording started. So I will once again I will explain you. Okay, so I'm sitting here from this laptop. Okay, so I'm sitting at my laptop. I have internet access. I have AWS account. Okay, and by using my laptop, I connected to the AWS console, and I'm building a VPC here, my own VPC. So in the VPC, when I create, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create these things. Okay, I'm going to create VPC, subnet, internet gateway, and routing table. And what is my subnets? This will be my subnets. This is my VPC CIDR. This will be my public server. This will be my private servers. Subnet. Okay, then we will create a routing table and we will do the testing. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm here.
Nadima, one second. I have a quick question here. So if you go back to your previous slide, when you are showing the IP addresses, right? The VPC. So here you say that create VPC with this particular IP address and subnet, right? So the subnet is showing as /16, right? So doesn't this has to be 24, right?
No, no, no.
Because I see only one network bit here.
No. See, for
No?
this,
So this is my doubt.
no. You need to remind a subnetting. Okay, so subnetting is something. There are three types of classes: private IP addresses, so
Yeah.
private subnets. Okay, so two. There, as you know, there are class A, class B, class C. So in the class A, the private subnet is 10.0.0.0/8. And in class B 172.116.0.0/16, and in class C 192.168.0.0/24. So these are the uh, three private subnet left for general purpose. Apart from this, whatever you use, everything is charged. Everything is a public IP address. So when we like, if you want more number of IP addresses, then you can choose this one. If you want the medium range, this one, and less number of IP address, 20/24 means you will have only 254 IP addresses here. Actually 256, 254 only. So one will be in the network ID, one will be this broadcast ID, and remaining will be the host IDs. Okay, so when I say /16, so actually I did a subnetting. Okay, I don't want to use a broader subnet. I can use this one /16, and I can split multiple small subnets under this. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
this is
that's your interpretation basically. Okay.
yes.
Okay, I thought
My,
maybe the
no,
standards.
it is no, it is not a standard. It is, see, when you are building a VPC, it is your rights. You can choose anything.
Got it.
You can choose this one. No one will ask you. And whatever the subnet you have chosen, your subnet, your server will get IP address from that pool. Got it? So
Okay.
when I'm choosing this one, I'm creating these subnets. So we will see when we build server, right, I will get an IP address from this subnet, something called 10.0.1.1 maybe, or 1.2. And similarly this server I will get 10.0.2.2 or 2.1, something from this subnet.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
So okay, So now, as yesterday discussed, this is a default behavior. Like when I open a VPC, every region, see right now I'm in North Virginia. So every region will have its own VPC. Okay, if I go here, okay, and you can see here there is already a default VPC. And one more thing, never ever delete the default VPC. Okay, if you delete this default VPC, then you need to open a ticket and you need to work with the support team. So don't remove, because this is a whole network. Actually, if you delete the network, then you will not be able to create the instances. So there is a whole dependency here. So if you see here, there is already by default there is one VPC, 6 subnets are there, then routing table, there is one routing table default, and there is an internet gateway. If you go to the routing table, this is very important. Who will go outside, who will come inside? So this is what the routing table will decide. So if you go to the routing table, go to the routes, so can you see by default it will tell you what is your whole subnet, and this is a default route 0.0.0.0, and we are pointing it towards internet gateway. Okay, what is internet gateway we'll see in just now. And in this routing table we associate a subnets. See, these subnets are associated here. If I remove the any of the subnet from here, see, edit subnet association, so that whole subnet will be not part of internet routing table. So if it is not part of routing table, means you cannot access that subnet. Okay, so leave this default. We are not going to touch that default. We will create our own, so you will get clear understanding. Okay, so now the first thing I am going to create a VPC. Okay, so don't touch this one, this is the default one. So let me write down some here. Default, default. Okay, nothing will happen. So now I'm going to create VPC. Okay, so I will say, let's say next gen VPC. I have given the name. What is the CIDR? CIDR, I said I will choose this one. See, this is your rights. You can, if you are good in subnetting, you can take any subnet and split it into multiple subnets. So see /16. Okay. So now it is asking no IPv6. Amazon provider IPv6, some special things, leave them. Then default, dedicated or default. Then leave it. This is also tag. When you put the name, so automatically tag came. Okay. Now create VPC. So when I go back here into the dashboard, can you see I am seeing two VPCs. So when I open this one, so I can see there is another VPC came. And if you go here, when you select this one, so every service in AWS there will be a ID. Can you see? This is the ID. So you can copy from here also. See, this is my ID. So I can copy it and I can. Okay, so see, so Amazon, they represent every service like this. Even if you have EC2 instance, there will be a ID for that. Okay, so now you can see there is a CIDR. Okay, it is showing available. So if you go and check here, CIDR 10.0.0.0/16. So I have taken a class Ruby, and tags are nothing but next gen VPC. So my VPC is created. Okay, now the next thing. Okay, what I'm going to do, let me refresh it. Okay, so not this one. So now I'm sitting here. Okay, I'll say Beams laptop. Okay, and from here I'm sitting at home, and I have the internet connectivity. Okay, and from here I connected to AWS console. So I will say AWS console. Okay, and I just created one VPC called next gen VPC. And what is the CIDR I have given? I have given the CIDR. CIDR means a network subnet 10.0.0.0/16. Okay, so this is I created now. So this is a VPC. Next, what I'm going to do? Next, subnets. So if you look at here, by default, you have these subnets with default. Can you see the default name means default subnets? Okay, but we are going to create our own subnets. Okay, so what and see, and every it is related to the default availability zone. Can you see availability zone? Availability zone A, B, C, D, E, F. So available in the VPC. So in North Virginia there are 6 data center, but I'm going to use only 2. So what I will do, I'm going to use 2 data centers. Okay, and I will give a subnet to that. So I will say, so let's use US East 1A and US East 1B. US East 1A and US East 1B. Okay, and the subnet what I'm going to use here, and let's say I'm going to make this is a public subnet, and this will be my private subnet. Okay, and here I'm going to assign 10.0.1.0/10, and here my subnet will be 10.0.2.0/10. Okay, so I'm under this. See, there are 6 availability zone under North Virginia, and where I'm in the North Virginia. Sorry for the spelling mistake, which is nothing but in US, one of the region in the US. So this is called US East 1. Okay, so under this I created one VPC, my own VPC, and I am going to out of 6 data center I am going to use this 2 data center, US East 1A, US East 1B. Okay, you have a rights to create subnet in all. You can use all 6 data center of this particular region, but I'm going to use 2 only. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the subnet. Create subnet. So they are saying you are creating subnet under which VPC. So if you drag down, can you see there are 2 VPCs it is saying, default and next gen. So I will say next gen VPC. Okay, next, what is the name of your subnet? So let's say I will say uh, public subnet. Availability zone. Can you see? They are saying, okay, we have 6 availability zone in 6 data center in North Virginia. Which one you want? I want to create in 1A. Okay, and what is the CIDR? What will be the IP address? So I will say 10.0.1.0/16. 0/24. Can you see this? It automatically came. You just need to, but before that you need to plan it on the paper. Okay, so my first public subnet is this one. Tag is already given. When I put the name, the tag will come here. So now my subnet is ready. Go and create the subnet. Done. My second work is done. Similarly, I am going to create another subnet. Under which VPC? Under next gen VPC. What is my subnet? I will say private subnet. So when you do the practice, just do the same thing what I'm doing, because I'm going to send you this document. So just follow what I'm doing. So step by step I have given. Create VPC, done. Next, create second point, create subnet in the VPC. See, like this, create subnet, select this and next. So like this, you are going to follow this document. Okay, preferences. So as discussed, I will use the another data center 1B, and my subnet will be 10.0.2./24. Done. So my second subnet is ready. Create subnet. Wow. So when I clear the filter and look at the subnet, can you see the 6 default subnets are here, but we created our own here, private and public subnets. Okay, private means 10.0.2, public means 10.1.0.1. So you have a right, see, like you can pull it up, down. So to see, when I pull this one, even there are some more option if you want to see availability zone. So 1A, 1B. See, I use this one. And can you see how many IP addresses you can build? 251. See, this is what, when you use a /20. So under /20, 4000 IP addresses are coming. But I use a smaller one, /24. So in one subnet, only 251 IP addresses can be made. Can be, so you can in that subnet, you can create that many of servers. That many IP address can be allocated from this subnet 10.0.1.0/24. So you can see the difference here. /20 means 4000 per subnet. /24 means 251. So because we are doing a lab, so that's what I'm using small subnet. But in the real time, you can use /20. /19 means again it will be huge. /21 means it will be less than 20. So there is a subnetting concept there. Okay. So this is what. So I created 2 subnet, and see, this is my subnet ID. Every service will have its own subnet ID. Okay, and some more things are here, route table, and also we'll see that. Okay, now we're done with this. So now if I go back, so I created 2 things. Created VPC, created a subnet in 2 different availability zone. Done. Now third point, create 2 routing table. Okay, public and private. Okay, now let's go to the routing table. So now see, can you see, previously there was only one routing table, but I can see the 2. Why it happened? Because whenever you create a new VPC, a routing table will become default. Okay, default routing table will come. So see, we are nothing to worry about this one. Default, leave about this one. We need to check this one. So this is a default one, and every subnet will be part of this particular routing table by default. Okay, so every subnet will be part of this one. So if you go to the routes, so see, there is a default, by default it will take the entire routing table. Okay, and it is showing this one. So do you have any associations here? Like, do you associated any subnets here? See, by default, whatever the subnet you created, right, it will be part of this routing table. What does it mean? It means that when you create VPC, okay, and you created this one. So there is one routing table got created, okay, under the VPC. One routing table created. Routing table is for in and out, who will come in. This is called routing table, same like a router. So you will get all the subnets 10.1 and 10.2. So what does it mean? When you create two EC2 instance, one in this subnet, one in this subnet, they can reach to each other. There will be communication possible in that. Why? Because we are using a default routing table. This is a default routing table. Any questions, Salman? Nazim?
No, no, I'm clear on.
Okay. So this is a default behavior. So what we are going to do, as we discussed, we are going to create a two routing table. One, we are separating private and public. Okay. So let me edit this one. So we will use this one, saying that I will say public RT means routing table. Public routing table. Okay. And what I'm going to do from here, from public routing table, I am going to remove this association, because private I don't want here. I will put it into another subnet. So I'm just removing from here. Edit private subnet and okay, not from here. One second. Go to VPC subnet, private subnet, route table. No. One second. How can I remove this association? One second. Subnet. One second. Routes subnet. Edit subnet association. Subnet association. So what it is saying, change with subnet associated with the routing. There should be one option to change some tab or whatever. Subnet association. So what it is, explicit subnet association. Subnet without explicit association. What is it? You do not have any subnet associations. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's create another. So we have public routing table. I'm going to create another routing table. So I will say private routing table. Under which VPC it is asking? See, under next gen VPC. Okay, then create routing table. Okay, so right now, if you, and I'm here in the private routing table, subnet association. If you go here, okay, I'm still seeing this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select only private here. Yes. So I will use private subnet here, save associations. Very good. And in the public subnet, I will just select a public, and here subnet association, edit subnet, and just check mark here, public subnet. What is this? To browser. Okay, later. Okay, now so I have a three routing table now. This one is a default one, which we are nothing to worry about this one, and the public routing table. So when I say the public routing table, if you go to the subnet association, so you can see we associated our public subnet. See 10.1.10.0.1.0/24. This is become public, and in the private routing table, if you go to the subnet association, so you will see 10.0.2.0/20, right? So one is a public routing table, one is a private routing table, right? Now the fourth step. Okay, fourth step. So now look at here, look at this diagram. So by default they were part of one routing table. So what we did here is we removed this. What we uh, this default routing table, which was by default, we just changed that default routing table name. We say RT, and we removed a private subnet from here. See, and what we did, we created another routing table, and we have given the name called private routing. Okay, and we have given the subnet. We assign the 10.0.1.0/24, that subnet here. So there will be two now what will happen, the in out to this subnet and in out to separated by creating two different routing tables. Okay, now you can fourth point, internet gateway. Okay, so internet gateway, so by default, see this is a default internet gateway. Can you see in the written, it is written default. Okay, so we are not going to touch this one. We are going to create a new create internet gateway. So just create internet gateway, give the name next gen IGW, I will say internet gateway, so short form I'm using. So I created a new internet gateway. This is my fourth point. Created VPC, created subnet, creating routing table, created internet gateway. So now if you go here, okay, can you see here something is showing here? When you create internet gateway, one is showing it is attached to the VPC default, but the latest one which we created, it is not attached to our VPC. What does it mean? It means that internet gateway is nothing but, see, actually the internet is here. Okay, the world is here. So while creating internet gateway, actually you are giving a direction, you're opening it to go and access the internet. So what we do, we generally this internet gateway, you can consider it is like a router. Okay, we are mapping it to our VPC so that it can go to the internet. So this is, I will say IGW, internet gateway, which will give you access to the internet. If you don't assign internet gateway to your VPC, see, you need to associate this internet gateway to your VPC. Okay, and it is nothing but, you can say this is nothing but your internet router. Okay, so now if I go here, see, right now it is showing detached. So what I need to do, you need to just select this one, go to action and attach to VPC. You need to attach it. So which VPC you want to attach? So you will see one VPC only, because for the default VPC you already have that attachment. So now just take this one, VPC internet gateway attach. Here we go. Now our VPC, now we are fully functional. We have the subnet, we have the CIDR, we have the subnet, we have routing table, we have the internet gateway. Yes, we are ready. We build our network, but something is still missing. What is that? What is that? So that is something route table. Okay, so this is what the networking will come into picture here. Okay, if you have some base network, then you will clearly understand this one. Okay, so what will happen now? You have a separate routing table for public and for private. Okay, so to reach the internet, if you recall the routing concept, you required a default route 0.0.0.0 slash 0. This is called a default route. So if anyone from this subnet they want to go outside, they want to go access the internet, then you need to have this route, which is nothing but called as a default route. So that default route, you need to give point to the next hop will be the internet gateway. Okay, this default route. So what we are going to do is, in our public subnet, a public routing table, we will create 0.0.0.0 slash 0 this route. We are saying this public subnet can go to the internet pointing towards IGW. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to routing table. Okay, public routing table. Now you will see here there is something called routes. So can you see by default there is only it is showing an entire routing table 10.0.0.6. So I'm going to edit the routes, edit route, and here add the route. And now what I'm going to say 0.0.c default it came. Okay, where? So when you see here there are multiple options: carrier gateway, egress internet gateway, load balancing, instance, local, NAT gateway, network. Many things are there, but we are going to use internet gateway. So when I say internet gateway, see, can you see it automatically it is taken next gen IGW, which we just created. So I'm just creating this one. So my public routing table, I associated will not see anything. You will not see, or you will see only the internal subnet. 10 dot is nothing but the CIDR. So what does it mean? Or they will these servers will not have internet. You cannot be accessed from internet. So we are done with the VPC here. Any questions here before we move and create the instances? Salman bhai, Nazim, any questions here? This is because very important. If you ask me, and you know, this lab we are going to repeat multiple times.
So, Nadim bhai, one question here. The, when you opened up the system, the VPC for the internet, right? So it's for the outbound, inbound both, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then that goes back to the concept where we in the first classes, in the earlier classes, we saw how to make the EC2 instance go to the internet, right? Like there you
Okay.
we get a warning.
Okay. Okay. So if you look at the security group, I think you are pointing towards the security group which we use in EC2 instance. So that security group that is related to what is called, that is related to your instance only. But you know here
Correct.
your complete subnet is associating. So
Got it.
Let's say in the
Got it.
private routing table, if you don't attach internet gateway, there will be nothing to do with the internet with for the private whatever in the subnet. See, we associated the route this one. So when you create EC2 instance under this subnet, they will not be accessible from internet.
Hmm.
That's the whole reason creating two different subnet. So even Amazon, they recommend to have do not use one single routing table. If you have multiple routing table, make it separate, private and public, or internal, whatever you want. Separate it, and so that you can control from broader level instead of controlling from EC2 level. You are controlling from routing table level direct,
Got it.
right? So now what we'll do, we will create two instances and we will test that what's going to be happen there. Okay, so any question, Nazim?
Actually, if the traffic is coming from inbound to outbound, so we need to write ACL or something firewall is there behind that.
No,
How internet is. Hmm.
okay, so right now we are not using anything. Okay, what we did, we just created VPC subnet routing table internet gateway, and let's go and test. Let's create two instances, one instance in public subnet, one instance in private subnet, and let's have a test there. So then one more concept will come into picture. I will tell you after that lab. So now here we are clear, right, with the routing table.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so associating it and the only default route, we will see the this default route will make a difference. Okay, so now our network is ready. Okay, so what we did is our network is ready here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I am going to create one EC2 instance here, one EC2 instance here. Okay, and we will test that. So let's go here. I'm in the EC2 tab right now. I don't have any instances, right? You can see it's nothing. So I will just say launch instance. So let me pick the free tier, go down and pick this one, free tier Windows 16, 19. Select, then T2 micro, will select default, configure instance. Okay, now this is the place. If you remember, before that we were using the default, but now if you look at here, we are having two VPC. So under which VPC you want this instance? Under next gen VPC. So under next gen VPC, again two subnets are here, private subnet and public subnet. Which one you want? So let's create a public subnet first, under the public subnet. Okay, public subnet. Then okay, now see here, there is something called auto assign public. Okay, this concept we'll see again. So disable means what it is saying, you will not get a public IP address on this particular server. So let me enable it, because we need to use it, we need to access it from the internet, right? So I will enable it. Okay, and rest everything is same, rest everything is same. I'm not going to touch. Add storage. Okay, this will be the default. Then add tags. So I will say name, I will say public server. Okay, security group. Okay, security group, it will be the same. So I will say uh, Windows public SC security group. So from where you want to access this, so you need to give the RDP access. Also we can open ICMP as well to test our reachability. So here in the customize, so I'm going to use my public IP address. So only from my subnet I can use this. So here if you want some comment, you can put that. So only RDP and ICMP. I just open that, review, launch, and here Microsoft key. Let me see if I have that key. Microsoft key, I have that. So if you don't have, then you need to create that. Microsoft key, acknowledge, launch instance. So this is our public server is building. Okay. So if you want to go to view instance, so this will come soon. So meanwhile, I am going to create another instance. Okay. Okay. If you look at here, wow. Can you see here? Public server. It is under building. So now this is our instance ID, public IP address, 3 dot something. Can you see here the private IP address 10.0.1.71? So if you look at here, go back, what is our subnet public 10.0.1.0? So you got the IP address from this pool. See, you got the IP address from this pool. So I can say my EC2 server is this one 10.0.1.71. Okay. So now, and if you go down, you will get some more details. See which VPC, next gen VPC, which subnet, public subnet, which we created. Okay. I'm sorry, and some more details are there. So let's go and create another private subnet. Free tier. क्या आ रहा है यार, pop-ups. Okay, so free tier Windows 16, 19. Okay, then configure instance details. Okay, here very important. You need to select. See, if I do forget and if I create, so what will happen? My VPC will be, my instance will be created in the default, and my subnet will be different. Okay, so but you want the control stuff. So now next gen. So which subnet? Public we already created. So I want to create under private subnet. So what is the private subnet? Private subnet 10.0.2.0. So I will get IP address something called 10.0.2. Something. Okay, that's Amazon choice. Okay, public IP address you want? Yes, I want this because even I have the public IP address. Still, this instance will not go to the internet. That's what I need to check. Add storage. It will be the same. Add tags. I will say, guys, as I told, this lab will be a private. So tag used security group. Okay, security group. I can use the same one because I don't have a problem to use the same security group because it required RDP. Oh, sorry, not this one. Windows public SG. Review and launch. Launch key. Generally, for private and public, we should use a different key. Okay, so you can create in our organization. They will create one private key for private server, public key for public servers. So let's go do one thing. Let's use the web server key for private. Launch instance. Done. View instances. There we go. So now if I look at my private server, can you see that? What is my IP address? 10.0.2.184. Now don't ask Amazon why you have taken 184, why not 1, 2, 3, 4. You have given the pool, they can pick anything. So we don't have answer for that. Can you see a next gen VPC private subnet? this instance in the private subnet now. So if I go here and I can just write down the IP address which I received 10.0.2.180. Okay, and my server is under progress. Okay, so now my public server is ready. So let's go and try access this one. Okay, so I need to connect it first. RDP client, get password. What is the point? They are asking, look for the Microsoft key. Browse it. Microsoft key. This one, decrypt. There we go. So this is my, I will say, and this is my IP address. This is my IP address. So this is for the, oh, this is public server. Public server. Okay, so let me go and do the RDP. So I'm here, remote desktop connection. Okay. Administrator. Administrator. Okay. So it is allowing me to do the RDP. Okay. So my public server, I'm able to do the RDP. And here, if I go CMD and if you want to ping 8.8.8.8, can you see? Just because of that routing, the default route, we got the internet access. We are inbound and outbound both. Inbound. Okay. One more thing. This public IP address you cannot ping from your machine, but you know that firewall, internet firewall is there. If you disable that firewall, you will able to ping that. One second, we'll test that also. Where is the firewall? Firewall. Because I am in the server. Okay, so turn defender firewall off. 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 Okay. So now from my server, sorry, from my local machine, from my laptop, I'm going to do ping. What is the public IP address? 3.231.31.143. Can you see? I'm able to ping my public server. I'm able to RDP. I'm able to ICMP. Right? So this is what we defined. Now let's go and test the private. Let's see, our server will be ready there. Okay, my two instances are ready, running. There we go. Perfect. So private server. Okay, private server. This is the one. So what I'm going to do first, let's connect it. Take the RDP. So what it is asking? It is asking for get password. Web server key. It is asking. So I have the web server key. There we go. So this is my private server. Private server. The password and this is the this one. Okay. Now let's go and do RDP again. 3.89.215.38. Salman bhai, what is will it RDP?
Sorry, anyone?
Will it allow you to RDP?
It should not.
Exactly. This is what we are going to achieve from this lab. See what it is saying. Remote desktop cannot connect to the remote computer of one of the reason. Remote access service not enabled. The remote computer is turned off. Remote computer is not available on the network. First point. Remote access is server is not enabled. This server is ready. It is healthy. It is up and running.
Right.
But we are controlling it from the routing table.
Private.
Go and look at here. You don't have default route here, so it cannot go. There is nothing to do with the internet for this subnet. So if you create 200 servers under this private subnet, so they will not be having internet access. Okay, they will not be accessible from the internet. But the same thing, can you see I'm able to access from here? You understand? This is very clear. So what we did, we achieve our agenda. So we created routing tables, two separated routing tables, two subnetted associated to that. Internet gateway only assigned to the public routing table. So even now, if you look at here, even now in the EC2 instance, in this you have the security group to allow the RDP, right? To allow the ICMP, but still no one can ping. Okay, let's do one thing, because the routing table will come first, then security group will come. If you just understand this. So now if you think that maybe my okay, let's do one thing. My instance, private instance, I will go to the security. What is the security? Windows security. Generally we should
It's
use
a two layer check you're saying. Like if he passes through the
exactly
routing table, then he'll fail on the RDP access.
Exactly. It is dropping here itself. It is not allowing. So even there is, even if you open to the world also, this particular security group, if you open to the world, nothing will happen.
Got it.
So that's what mean. That is the mean by the private subnet. Okay. Now the last. Now we achieve private and public. Now the last thing what we are going to test from this public server. Okay, this is public server. Currently I'm accessible from 3.23, but if I go and check here IP config, can you see my private IP address is this one, 10.0.1.71. Can I ping to my another server private IP address? What is this private IP address? 10.0.2.184. Ping 10.0.2.184. Okay, that ping is actually blocked by server. So but we can RDP from here. Just copy this IP address, go to the RDP. Under RDP, see, this is what we are going to do. A remote desktop connection, Connect. Oh, it will not come. Why? Now see, now security group is coming into picture. So what security group we defined? We said
My IP.
exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit that. Security group is not allowing. I will go here and I will add another rule into that.
So you're kind of doing a VPN, in other words, not technically
Exactly.
VPN, but the concept of VPN. You're getting onto the network and then accessing one server of a private subnet
Yes.
to another one. Okay, got it.
Yes. So what I will do here I will add another RDP session, RDP, and let me specific to 10.0.1. क्या है उसका IP? 71. 10.0.1.71/32. So I can put the description from RDP from um, availability zone B. Okay. Save rules. Let's go here. Can you see this? The moment I created that rule, I just allow to go this 10.0.1.71 can RDP to 10.0 VPC. Exactly. See, now from Amazon to Amazon we are reaching. So after seeing this lab, you should say, wow. See, RDP to RDP. If I go and minimize it, इसको वापस कैसे no, it's okay. Okay, now if I go here, CMD. Ping, first check the IP address. IP config. See, I'm here 10 dots. I'm in my private server. From where? Now, can you see ping from here? 8.8.8.8. No, no one can go to internet. No one can come from internet. Okay. So if you look at here, see where I am. I am in accessing 3.2.31 public IP to I did RDP to internal. So what I did actually, what I did from my machine, I did RDP to this machine first, public. Okay. Then when I try to RDP this one, it got blocked. So what I did from this private IP to private IP, see here also I open said that two different availability zone. So I did RDP to RDP from this public IP, this private IP to RDP, private IP, RDP. So now see this is what the security will come into picture everywhere. How the security is coming, you can see here. how the security group and the limitations and how you're controlling the stuff. So that's it. As I told, the entire agenda is done. So next, let's say tomorrow I want to do some another lab, or Monday. So I need to build this again. So we will see that again. So but what I will request you to uh, build this lab today itself. Okay, it's you are it's very fresh. Okay, and if you do it, any questions? So I'm going to delete my all the stuffs. Okay, any questions?
No, as of now, I don't think.
All right. So I'm sending you this document. So